Today and this week at Bungie, or this week in Destiny, whatever you want to call it, we got finally news about the Final Shape raid. The Final Shape raid is the big one. It's the nice big culmination of the Light and Dark saga. It's one that everyone in the community wanted to be a part of and experience. Today in their weekly posting, they gave us finally the date, which is going to be 3 days after the launch of Final Shape, which is going to be June 7th. This is huge news, one, because we finally know what the date is. Two, we haven't had a 3-day or post 3-day raid launch in years. I think the last time we had one was Garden of Salvation, and a lot of people have been really enjoying the Saturday raids, the 10 days after raids, and I think the community really enjoyed that. However, it does seem that they're going back to pushing out the raid and making it almost a sprint more than a marathon. So it's very, very interesting that they are doing this. Myself and a lot of people think the main reason that they are doing this is to get out Echoes, which is their first episode. We don't really have seasons anymore. They're going to be giving us episodes, and the first one, Echoes, cannot release based off of their terminology and their wording, cannot be released until the Final Shape raid has been completed and beaten. The other thing is they talked about it a little bit in a couple of their dev postings and in a couple of the show Vidocs. There seems to be some additional activity getting added in the future where everybody is going to get to experience defeating the Witness together after the raid. Kind of similar to where you beat the raid and then there's a big post-raid activity that everyone gets to experience. So everyone that plays Final Shape can say that they have beaten the Witness. You kind of saw it in the trailers where they show us with Cade and all these Guardians together, and that's kind of what this is going to be about. It's an interesting strategy, and I'm very curious what y'all think about this. I personally am not really affected about it. I've done a lot of raids. I've done a lot of contest raids. I've done a lot of day one raids. I've done them when they have been the same day as the expansion dropping, or 3 days after. I've done them, of course, in the 10 days. I've done them on the Saturdays. So I've had to do different ones, and I kind of don't like going back to the 3-day, I got to play 20 hours a day to get ready, because remember, we have to do a campaign, we have to do all the prismatic stuff, we have to go for all the weapons. You don't really have time in a 3-day prep. You don't have time to enjoy the expansion. My only thought process now is speed through the campaign and get ready for the raid. On the flip side of that, now I have to prepare for prepping for the raid. So I was talking with Chad yesterday, and I literally said I wasn't having any interest on bounty prepping. Now I got a bounty prep because I need all of the additional time I can get ahead of time going into Final Shape. So it's time to get 180 bounties. Now I know what you're probably saying. Some people have already done that, but I felt with 10 days, I was gonna play more than enough anyway that I wasn't going to need to do that. And now that's changed. A big thing that's happening right now through social media is that a lot of people are trying to, at Bungie or at Destiny 2 team and begging them to make the changes. The biggest issue with this is obviously the story. They seem to be really wanting to push out that story beat and the new, not really expansion, but the new Echoes season, whatever you want to call it. They really want to push that out ASAP, so it seems they want to get that first weekly reset to where all those things happen, and they said they can't do it until the raid is beaten. That's probably the biggest barrier to making them do that change. The other thing is a lot of people were expecting to have June 14th be the raid date, because for the past 3 or 4 years it's always been about 10 days post the season or expansion dropping. So there was a lot of people who already took off because they kind of expected it to still be the same thing now, especially since this was a big one. Everyone's going to try to get in. They want everyone to be involved. And now they can't, of course, take off 2 weeks early because they've already, called in to work and all that stuff, have that locked in, or they just had other plans beforehand. I saw some people saying they had some weddings to go to, some, family visits coming in at that same time. They already took off work for the 14th. They can't change it already. It's too close to that date. A lot of reasons, a lot of valid reasons, and it's very unfortunate. And I think Bungie probably thought that they, gave everyone information way ahead of time, and normally they would, but I could have expected them to do this a lot earlier. Either way, I'm really excited for the raid. It's unfortunate that a lot of people now will not be able to compete. I know a lot of people are trying to break apart their teams and put two teams together because of this. I know a lot of people, a lot of, of my peers are going to be on the sidelines. I will be participating, and I will be, going for just a day one clear and all that stuff. And I'm excited, and I'm glad that we know ahead of time so we can mentally prepare. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this change, if you were going for a day one completion as well. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.